In the heart of a small village called Wanja, nestled between two great rivers, there lived an old woman named Mama Yasha. Mama Yasha was known far and wide for her wisdom and stories. But there was one thing more mysterious than any tale she told: the large clay cooking pot she kept in the center of her hut. The pot was ancient, passed down through generations, and it was said to hold magical powers. No one had ever seen Mama Yasha cook with it, and no one dared to ask. The pot was always there, silent and untouched, covered with a simple woven cloth. One evening during the harvest festival, as the villagers danced and sang under the moonlight, a powerful storm struck the village. Lightning cracked across the sky, and the winds howled like wild animals. The riverbank swelled, and the crops began to wash away in the downpour. Fear swept through Wanja like a shadow. The villagers ran for shelter, knowing their year's hard work might be destroyed. Mama Yasha, however, stood calmly in the storm, her old eyes scanning the heavens. With a quiet resolve, she turned and walked into her hut, where the mysterious pot waited. Outside, the villagers huddled together, praying for the storm to end. But as the hours passed, it only grew worse. Suddenly, Mama Yasha's door creaked open, and she emerged holding the clay pot high above her head. The villagers stared in awe, some trembling, for they had never seen the pot leave its place. "The storm comes not from the sky," Mama Yasha's voice echoed through the winds. "It comes from the anger of the ancestors, the guardians of the land. They demand an offering." The villagers whispered among themselves. No one understood. What offering could satisfy the forces that controlled the rivers and the sky? Without another word, Mama Yasha placed the pot in the center of the village square. She motioned for silence. The storm raged, but inside the village there was only the sound of the rain hitting the ground like a drumbeat. Suddenly, from within the pot, a faint sizzling sound arose, like fire being stoked. Smoke began to curl out of the pot, though no one had lit any flames. The air filled with the scent of rich, warm stew, a fragrance so enticing that even the youngest child felt their hunger grow. Mama Yasha stepped back as the pot began to stir on its own, the lid shaking. Then, with a loud crack, the lid flew off, and a thick, bubbling stew spilled out. But this was no ordinary stew. It was filled with ingredients no one had ever seen before. Fruits and vegetables so vibrant they seemed to glow. The villagers hesitated, unsure whether to approach, but Mama Yasha nodded. "This is the offering the ancestors demand. Eat." One by one, the villagers came forward, scooping the strange stew into their hands. As they ate, something incredible began to happen. Their weariness faded, their strength returned, and their fears melted away. The storm outside began to calm, the wind easing, the rain softening to a gentle patter. Soon all the villagers had eaten, and the once violent storm had vanished. The river shrank back to its banks, and the fields that had begun to flood were now untouched, as if the storm had never come at all. Mama Yasha smiled, her old hands carefully replacing the lid on the pot. "The ancestors have been fed," she said quietly, her voice warm and steady. "And now, so have you." From that day on, the villagers of Wanja never questioned the old pot in Mama Yasha's hut. It was said that it held the power to protect the village in times of great need, but none dared to touch it or ask its secret. It was, after all, a mystery only Mama Yasha understood, and one that would pass on to the next generation when the time was right.